everybody. Welcome to another edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. This is the show we talk about sports with comedians. And being that we got a lot to cover today, let's jump into it. Let's get started. First up is my man known as Talent. Talent, how you doing, sir? How was your weekend, brother?
My weekend was awesome until football. I lost my shirt yesterday.
but you made a lot the week before, so you just evened out.
Well, I had 2 good weeks running, but I knew the fix was in, Frank. I knew it. When I seen all 3 New York games at 1:00, I said nothing ever good come from that.
Wow, I didn't even realize it all at 1:00. My man Fig is in the building too. Fig, what's bring him up? Fig,
what the deal? What the deal? Taylor said he lost his shirt. It's a good thing you sell merch.
My man Mike Sean is also in the build too. Mike, how you doing, sir?
First of all, get me back on the intro. Get my picture back on the intro. Let's do that. And second of all, the one time I decided to listen to Talent, I call this man and we have a consultation. Talent lost his shirt. I ain't have a shirt to lose. I lost skin. I lost actual skin. Thank God for Patrick Mahomes. Thank God for Patrick Mahomes. That's all I got to say.
We'll jump into all that. We're gonna jump into all that. Before we get started, man, I'm gonna before we jump into the NFL, I'm gonna get started with you as you would expect and ask you to see if you happen to watch the sports news on Saturday night when Dwight Howard made his debut in Taiwan, the T1 League. Now let's not forget he's 36 years old. He put up 38 points, 25 rebounds, 9 assists, 4 blocks. And they won 120-115 over the new Taipei. And let's not forget also, he shot and made 2 3-pointers. He shot 10 times, but he made 10 3-pointers. So I guess my question to you is, do you think Dwight Howard belongs back in the NBA before we talk about the NFL games? You think he should belong with numbers like that? So it shows like he still has it. What do you think?
Is in Taiwan, Frank. he playing with everybody the same size as your local neighborhood Chinese restaurant. They're very short. He's Andre the Giant over there. So, and here's the thing: you when you go over to a new league, how you start, like everybody's gonna come out with that extra energy in the beginning to start with, but the real deal is this: like, I don't know how many games or how long the season is, but will it sustain? Will he average the 38? I doubt it. I think this was like a show. I'm new. I'm here. I'm show y'all, kind of like set the tone type. It's like, I don't know. It's like going to jail, knocking the first dude out. You know what I mean? So nobody bother you. I think that's what he's doing. But it has nothing to do with, I wouldn't compare apples and oranges. NBA. He left for a reason. There's other big dudes.
Yeah, you can look at it like that. There's other big dudes. There definitely is other big dudes. But Fig, some of these other leagues overseas, they're not that bad. You know what I mean? I don't know about Taiwan. I don't want to go get ahead of myself. Well, do you think the question is, should Dwight Howard be in the NBA, Fig?
Listen, the only good thing about Dwight Howard playing over there is when he say you pay now, they give him his money right away. You pay now. No, man, listen. Dwight Howard was an all-star here in America. You go over into another league where they are not as advanced. I'm not going to say everybody is short because that's clearly not true. But when everybody is not as advanced as the NBA, of course he's going to shine. Think about this. Towards the end of his career, Stephon Marbury went over there and he played so well they gave him a statue.
Yeah, that's China.
Stephon Marbury got a statue like the Lakers do in front of the Staples Center. So our players are clearly still ahead of over there. I mean, by a little bit. They play, but we're still ahead of them as far as skill level. So it's not surprising because I believe that Dwight Howard can still play in the NBA today.
That's my question I'm asking. Do you believe he should be? That's my question I'm asking, Mike. Do you believe Dwight Howard should be able to play in the NBA today? Should he be able to be playing for somebody? What do you think?
Of course, he should be in the NBA. I can name you players that are on NBA benches that shouldn't even be in the NBA. They should be in Taiwan or wherever the hell they at. But I mean, to be impressed about what he did, I mean, his biggest competition is next week. They'll be playing a team led by Maurice Cheeks. So, we'll see how he does against Maurice Cheeks and see what happens. You know what I mean?
I hate that name, yo. That sounds suspect. Every time you say Maurice Cheeks, I want to pause.
Yeah. That's nobody was pausing back in the 70s and mid 80s. Nobody was pausing on Cheeks, but
and that's why we have AIDS, because nobody was pausing on Cheeks.
Jesus, God. Jesus.
I'm sorry.
Views and opinions expressed by Frank Holler and the insensitive
That's very
fucking God. Frank, you could have said, only thing would have been worse if you would have said Jewish Cheeks.
Yeah, that would have been the icing on the cake.
Yeah, that's terrible. All right, let's talk about the NFL, man. I got to talk about one of the biggest games that happened over the weekend was the Cowboys. I mean, they destroyed the Minnesota Vikings. And I got to be honest, I'm one of the people who picked the Vikings to win that game because the Vikings was at home and everything else. They were saying, they're saying the Dallas Cowboys defeated the Minnesota Vikings was one of their best wins of the decade in Cowboy history.
Oh my God.
And it proves that they belong in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's been going on and on. People, I don't know. Let me focus to you with this question right now. Do you think that big against the Dallas Cowboys win against the Minnesota Vikings was that big and that impressive in Super Bowl type impressive? What's your take?
Yes. And I'm gonna tell you why, because let's face it, Dallas was stinking it up. And it was if you're gonna call yourself America's team, that's an automatic added pressure that's always gonna be there as long as you keep considering yourself America's team. Because now you're bigger than the league, you're the whole country, you represent the whole country. You're saying, like, if somebody comes from somewhere else and saying, oh, this football thing they're talking about, show me America's team, and they show you Dallas, they have not been living up to that for quite some time right now. That's why, to the point where it makes you question the quarterback. Should he have gotten the money? Is it the get the money contract curse? All these things going on. Should we get rid of Ezekiel? Is he not performing the defense? All these things you would have never known watching that game. That game was so crazy. And you factor in the way Vikings have been playing in their record, because that was one of my sure bets for yesterday. You factor in how good that team is where they are right now. They're against Dallas, and Dallas to romp on them like that. That was big. That has to be one of the big games in the history.
See, I thought the same thing because Dallas. Because the Vikings had just beat the Bills. I was like, yeah, I think it's a no-brainer they're going to beat the Cowboys. Fig, what's your take on how this game basically showed out yesterday with the Dallas Cowboys defeating the Minnesota Vikings? Rodney Perry's in the show. Let me just add Rodney Perry to the show. What's good, Rodney? Rodney's in a restaurant, so I got to put him on here. He kind of loud there. What's your take on this, Fig?
I thought it was an amazing effort by the Dallas Cowboys and a horrible effort by the Vikings, man. During a usually it used to be 16, now 17 game season. You're gonna lay a few eggs. You're gonna have 2 or 3 games where your team just doesn't have it. And to me, that's what it looks like happened to the Vikings yesterday. It just like they didn't have their stuff. You know what I mean? They were horrible on both sides of the ball. And Dallas took advantage. You know what I mean? Dallas clearly got up for this game, pause. And they played some of their best football against a team that didn't have their best stuff. And that's what it looked like. I don't expect the Vikings to look like this next week or the week after that going forward. And yesterday they just had one of them games. It was a perfect storm. Dallas played well and the Vikings played horribly.
Yeah.
And Vegas wins again.
Mike Sean, Jerry Jones said that obviously that he thinks the Cowboys literally could set their sights on the Super Bowl because they beat the Vikings 40-3, and it shows how dominant the Cowboys really are. What was your take on this?
It is the most overrated victory ever. It shows you what a dumb offensive coordinator and offensive game plan does to you. They went down by 10 points. You know what they did when they came back on the field? They dropped back Kirk Cousins 3 straight times. Dallas Cowboys do one thing amazingly. They rushed the quarterback. When Green Bay was down 14 points in the 4th quarter, what did they do? They kept running the ball. You got a great running back. Why are you panicking? You've had this guy. He was dead to rights. All they did was say, oh, they're going to pass every down. And that's what they did. They thought Kirk Cousins all of a sudden was Joe Montana. Dog, they can't stop the run, and you didn't run the ball. So the Dallas Cowboys is a buffet when you do that against them, because then their secondary gets cocky, and they know that he can only hold the ball for so long. So they start taking chances, and they get bold. They get emboldened. We're really going to start cutting off these routes. We don't care about Justin Jefferson, because Kirk Cousins is only going to have less than 2 seconds to throw the damn ball. Then he had nerve to hold the ball. He was a mess. But this is your game plan. You watch Green Bay do what they did and what the rest of the league has done, and your game plan, y'all panic down 10 points, is stupidity. Like, I don't even take anything of this. It was just a snowball effect. And that the Dallas Cowboys ran on and did their thing. They're a very good team. They're not going to the Super Bowl. Y'all talking about going to the Super Bowl. How about y'all think about winning a playoff game? How about y'all do that?
Listen, I'm with you on that. I think a lot of people are getting ahead of themselves when they talk about the Cowboys, because there's a whole lot of other better teams in the NFC that you got to go through to get to the Super Bowl. But, you know, it's fun listening to these guys.
One of the teams. They are one of the teams that you have to get through. They are. I'm not saying they're not
but there are a lot, like I was saying, there are a lot more other teams in the NFC that you got to get through to get to the Super Bowl. And the Cowboys ain't it. Yeah.
There's 3 of them. There's just 3 of them. There's the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the 49ers.
I'm not going back and forth with you.
Well, why are we calling this a debate show then?
Please go back. Please go back and forth.
No. All right, let's talk about literally what Garrett Wilson's calling out the Jets for the sorry offensive effort. And the Jets scored the Jets only scored 3 points. The Jets had 2 yards in the second half. They lost to the Patriots 10-3 with seconds remaining against the Jets. I'm not going to make too big a deal of the Jets and Patriots game, because honestly, I'm a Patriots fan. And I thought the Patriots were going to lose this game. But the Patriots ended up playing somebody who played worse than them yesterday. So what's your take on this team? Because I know you're a Jets fan. I know you had to be upset because the Jets play phenomenal defense. They got the number 2 defense in the league. What's your take on this?
But see, that's the thing. That my take is, like, it depends on what side of the gate in football you sit on. You got people that love defense. If you are a defensive lover, that was the best game probably in the history of football.
Yeah.
If you're a defense lover, that's what you probably took away from that game. However, I like the all-around game. I like to see everything. So when I don't get to see a portion or a component that goes with football, I'm a little dismayed. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to see some offensive oohs and ahs as well. We didn't get that. We just got a defense-dominated game on both. Both teams came with their A defensive games. And I'll be honest with you, Frank, after 3 quarters or 2.5 quarters of that, I couldn't tell you who was going to win. I had both jerseys on over here in my couch.
Wow.
I kept switching jerseys every time somebody did a big defensive stop, when I'm like, oh, they're going to score on this one. And then it was either a sack or, somebody knocks the ball loose or whatever. I really enjoyed it, even though at the end, you hate to lose like that. You hate to. What I would have did and changed, speaking of Mike and coaching, as a coach, I didn't understand how with seconds left, right? Nobody's calling a timeout, right? And then they finally getting ready to snap the ball. How do you, and Mike's doing the same thing, how do you not just run the ball in that situation just to say, if I don't score nothing, you don't score nothing, we going to overtime. Just to not leave you nothing on the clock. I got the ball. I got all my downs in seconds. And I'm going to take a couple of shots, but as a run, so if my run doesn't do anything, the clock runs out, we all get another chance in an overtime situation. You don't leave. I don't know what it is, this notion. I've been watching people leave 20, 30, 40, 50 seconds, thinking it's nothing. It's exactly what it is. It's time on the clock. And that made me nauseous.
Right. It made me nauseous on one aspect. I'll talk about that in a second, though. Fig, what was your take on watching the Jets and the Patriots play yesterday? What was your take when you came out of that?
Man, at one point, I did a little painting, and I watched paint dry, and it was pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
But you know what? The one thing that nobody said that I have to bring attention to, that game should have went to overtime because there was a clear block in the back just before this, the running back scored on the kickoff. There was a block in the back, and the referees, they swallowed their whistle on that one. And I can't understand why, whether you're in the first quarter or the last quarter, when there's a clear block in the back, that the referees don't call it, because it was plain as day. The guy on the Jets, the defender, he was like right there. It looked like he was going to clip the runner at the feet and stop him just short of the touchdown, which would have sent the game into overtime because it was clearly no time on the clock, and the referees never called it. And I was looking forward. I was looking for Frank. I know it's the Patriots. I know, Frank. I know it's the Patriots. I was looking for.
You said there was no time on the clock.
There wasn't at that point when he ran it in. That's it. It was 5 seconds. It was over. You know, if you would have got him there, that would have been it, and it would have went. The game would have went to overtime.
Right.
No, there was 5 seconds left on the clock, and the Jets had time to do a play, and they ended up not doing the play when the Patriots scored. So there was no.
I'm talking about during the run back. Patriots got the ball. They're running.
When he caught the ball, and he ran the thing back. When they scored, there was 5 seconds left to go on the clock, which would have gave them to do that. And then the Jets had one play and ended up running that whole play off with the kickoff after they scored. So let's just say they did call that, everything else, it would have been on a 10-yard line, 5-yard line. Let's just say that. But the Jets had time for one play. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, the Patriots had the ball. The Patriots would have had time for a play, right? But I think it would have. I really believe it went to overtime. If the refs would have called the block in the back, it wouldn't have been there. They would have brought the ball back on the penalty. Right. Then the Patriots would have had to score within 5 seconds. I think the game would have went to overtime. That's my only point.
Possibly, but they might have hit the field goal 15-yard line, but they might have missed too. Possibly. I don't know. Mike, what's your take on the Jets loss to the Patriots?
I noticed something. When you're in the mood to go back and forth, it's okay to go back and forth.
I also can take you out. I can go, but I could, but I don't. I'm not gonna do that.
I'm just observing. I observe. I realize when it's about the Patriots. Listen, Taylor was right.
Wait, before you get started, Mike, there's Frank Nitty, and then there's Frank Petty.
Right.
I have yet to be petty. I could be petty. I have yet to be petty.
First of all, Big is absolutely right. But if I'm one of those officials, I wouldn't call that either. You want me to stay another quarter to watch this nonsense? You want us to sit out here on this field and watch this BS for another quarter? Man, you score. First of all,
it was cold.
And it was freezing. These dudes was like, yo, let me get some hot cocoa and get out of here. Like, this is dumb. Number one, their Jet defense is good. It is good. But I will say this about calling it a defensive battle. Both quarterbacks suck. So it's kind of easy to be a dominant defense when both quarterbacks are as bad as what Mac Jones and Wilson were yesterday. Now, the Jets have a problem. And it was said all over every show today, all over. When the Jet quarterback stands in front of a press conference and they ask him, do you think you disappointed the defense or let down the defense? And you say no, there's trouble in that locker room. And Aaron Rodgers probably is going to be a Jet next year. There's trouble in that locker room when your new quarterback sits up in that camera and says he did not let down the defense. Dog, you threw for like 70 yards or some nonsense like that.
2 yards in the second half.
What do you mean? Dog, what do you mean?
It's not your turn.
You had a defense. Did you let down your defense? Your defense didn't let the Patriots get a score in the end zone. Of course you let down your defense. This dude is about to get smashed in New York City. What he did right there is light the fire on the attack that he's going to get from here on out.
Honestly, I don't think what you call the play. I don't know, man. I think the offensive play calling on both teams was horrible. You know what I mean? I think that's what the bottom line is. And too bad both QBs suck anyway. But let me ask you this. Speaking of quarterbacks and speaking of offense and everything else, let me ask you this, T. The Philadelphia Eagles, did they show themselves to be really a mediocre team by squeaking by the Colts? Or are the Colts getting a whole lot better now with Jeff Saturday as their coach? Because I didn't watch the game. By the time I got up to playing, I kept looking at a lot of the box scores and everything else. I looked at a lot of the highlights and everything else. People seem to be really upset in Philly just by the squeaking by the Colts. What's your take on this?
Nobody's upset like me, man. But real quick before I answer that, look how much I got my Jets merch in the mail, right? Look at
Ooh, that's nice.
That's nice, right? I got this. Look, I got pajamas. Look, I got a pajama set.
Okay.
Pajama fit.
I can't wear none of this stuff. So listen.
I don't like it. You too big to have pajamas, Tyler. You too big to have pajamas.
If they make them big, Mike, I'm wearing them.
Hey, Mike.
They make them
he
big.
got the Jets pajamas with the feet in them.
With the
Hold
feet.
on, you never see all those families with those holiday portraits and they got on
Yeah,
the
I did. I mean, I
don't have none of those pictures. I just brought that up. What's happening with Philly, Frank, is what I said. I said this while everybody was riding that bandwagon. All them wins stacking up. I'm like, I still don't believe them. I didn't believe them. And then when they met with, I think it was Minnesota, tore them out the frame. I'm like, and now coming off that loss, which was real crucial, they needed this win. And you could not put these guys away definitively. You had to scratch and claw and to get to the end of the game. It looked like they were going to lose. And they had to scratch and claw back. I think we're starting to finally see the real Philadelphia Eagles. I know the numbers. See, people, we get caught up in these numbers sometimes. These are 10-0, 8-1. We get caught in them numbers, and them numbers will have you to believe that people are doper than what they are. Yeah. I think we're seeing the real Philly. Dude, remember, it was just 2 weeks ago. I said, yo, they're going to guarantee lose when they see the Titans. They lost before they seen the Titans, and now they still going to see the Titans.
See, to be honest with you, I get caught up with numbers. Is the reason why everybody's all excited about the Vikings until yesterday. Everybody was excited about the Vikings. Their numbers is up there too. Fig, what's your take on the Eagles squeaking by the Colts? Do you think the Eagles are showing their true colors, or the Colts are getting better?
I think the Colts are getting better. I really do. The Eagles didn't play, exceptionally well. And I think Saturday had the Colts playing really good on a Sunday. No, really. Listen, Jeff Saturday, I know people say he doesn't have any coaching experience and stuff like that, but Jeff Saturday played center for the Colts. He played with Peyton Manning. There's another player that's as smart on an NFL football team and knows all of the plays like your quarterback. That would be your center, because a lot of times your center is calling out what the defense is doing. So he watches a lot of tape too, and he knows. That's Jeff Saturday. You know what I mean? He knows what's going on. He knows his football. And I think he has those Colts a little inspired and playing a lot better than it was before he got there. Last week they won. This year they gave a really good team all they can handle on a Sunday afternoon. And I think Saturday has them playing exceptionally well. And the Eagles didn't play their best ball, but let's give a little credit to the Colts. Maybe they didn't play well because the Colts are getting better, especially on defense.
Maybe that's a possibility. Or they just overlooked them. I don't know. I don't know. It could be right. Mike, what's your take on it? Do you think the Eagles overlooked the Colts because it's the Colts? Or do you think the Colts got better? What's your take?
The Colts got better, and this same Colts team beat the Chiefs. Do we forget? The same Colts team beat the Chiefs early in the season. It's the NFL.
Yeah.
When A.J. Brown fumbles, that's a big deal. Now, Jeff Saturday has got them expired. Now, Jeff Saturday did make a mistake. When he was in the red zone, he got too conservative, went for that field goal, and didn't want to go for it on fourth down, knowing that if he got that fourth down, he basically would take the game over and win the game. Now, I'm not mad at Jeff. Jeff is trying to play conservative. We're going to run the ball. We're going to stick to our guns, play defense. Now, I will say I hate the Eagles, but thank God I bet on them. I hate the Eagles. I can't stand the Eagles, but I will tell you about Jalen Hurts. He does not crack under pressure. He was as cool and as calm on that last drive as you could possibly be. They were missing their star tight end. He didn't play. They had some guy off the street that they brought to replace him. And the Eagles are going to be there in the end. I forget what Tony Dungy, was it Tony Dungy or Herm Edwards said, it is hard to win in the NFL.
Yeah.
If you win a game, no matter how you win it, you win and you keep it moving. When you get to the NFC or AFC championship game, nobody comes back up to you and says, "You remember that time you barely beat the Colts in week 10?" Nobody brings that up. Nobody cares.
Right.
Like the Eagles are in the mix.
Let me just ask you, AJ Brown fumbled the ball. I didn't even know about that because I was like I said, I was traveling. I missed the whole thing.
AJ Brown has been doing some odd stuff lately. These last 2 games, AJ Brown has not been himself.
But he fumbled the ball.
He made a reception. He turned around and like was trying to brace himself, and somebody just came from the back and just came from the back, and punched the ball out of his hand. But it was almost like AJ Brown was playing like tentative because his ankle is hurt. So it was almost like he was just trying to just cover up and not do it. But then they lost.
Somebody came from the back and hit the ball.
Yes, and it was horrible. It was violent. Talent. It was violent.
Hey, Frank, that tight end. Before last week, he was selling turkeys at the local Stop and Shop.
Yeah, he was. He was definitely working for Uber Eats.
Mo, what's up, man? How you doing, Mo? And you
doing good. What's going on, fellas?
What up, bro? What up, bro?
So, Mo, since we missed, sit your ass down on Friday, another Friday. We got to at least see if we can carry it over again to Monday. So bring me a little bit earlier because there's some stuff I want to talk about in the NBA too, man. So tell me right now how, who, and what is going to sit their ass down on this segment. Go ahead, Mo. It's all you.
Man, check this out. I'm starting, like Talon said, all that New York stuff at 1 o'clock. So I'm starting off with the New York Jets. Sit your ass down. How does Zach Wilson only go for 77 yards? And yeah, like y'all was saying, the game was ugly. The game was uglier than me in the morning time. But the Jets got to show up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. 2 yards in the whole half, 2 yards, that's ridiculous. I found myself looking in the mirror saying, Jets man, Jets man, Jets man, hoping they would show up like Candyman. Sit your ass down. I'm going to keep it in New York. The New York Knicks, Fig, you got to join me on this one. You got to be patient. The New York Knicks, sit your ass down. 10th in the league. They can't hit threes. They rank 22nd on defense. Watching them is completely annoying. Completely only beating subpar teams. Other than Brunson, nobody else would start that's on the starting team for 90% of the teams in the league. To me, watching the Knicks are just as annoying as the people that follow you on Instagram and they want you to let them manage your money. Sit your ass down. Minnesota Vikings, sit your ass down. I got one line and I'm moving on to the next one. Minnesota Vikings, it was all good just a week ago. Houston Astros owner Jim Crane, sit your ass down. How you gonna let your GM Jim Click walk after 3 years cleaning up the scandal and win the World Series? You're gonna turn around and give him a 1-year extension on the contract. Jim looked at the contract, looked at him, looked at the contract, looked at him, looked at the contract, looked at him, and he said, sit your ass down. I'm out. And it's sad, too, because they might even lose Verlander. Listen, the last one, John Calipari of the Kentucky Wildcats. Sit your ass down. Listen, this goes back to last season. They got bumped off in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Now this year, they cannot even beat an unranked team. The only teams they lost to Michigan State, an unranked team. The other teams that they beat were teams that don't make no noise in the NCAA. Listen, the Kentucky Wildcats have about as much respect on the court as Kentucky Fried Chicken has in the hood.
That's your segment, Bo. You done?
I'm done. I thought Rodney was gonna be here. I had one for Rodney, but other than that, yeah, I'm done, man.
No. I want to hear the Rodney one. Let's hear the Rodney one. He was here.
So with Rodney Perry, sit your ass down. 2009, I inboxed Rodney Perry saying, I'm a new comic and I'm trying to learn about comedy. I want to learn the business of comedy. He hit me back. He said, "Give me your number, and when I get a chance, I'll call you." I'm still waiting. 2009. I thought talent was bad with 3 years. 2009. He said, "Hit me back. I'll call you." I'm like Cat Williams. Remember Cat Williams in the first special? I'll wait.
That was wrong.
Rodney Perry sit your ass down.
All the way down.
All the way down.
He was on for a second. All right, T, let me move on to the Chiefs defeating the Chargers. Thanks, Mo, for that. Don't go nowhere, Mo. The Chiefs ended up coming back last night with almost 2 minutes left to go on the clock. I got to admit, I'm one of the people who thought there's way too much time on the clock after the Chargers scored. I don't know what they were doing. I watched the game last night when I came in. I was like, why the Chargers came back and scored, went up by 3. I was like, why are they rushing to score instead of killing the clock? I didn't get it, but it happened. So, T, any surprise from you that the Chargers came back, lost that game, and just
no surprise on my end. I was a hater. My team had just lost earlier that day. But because my Jets had lost earlier that day, I'm in a bar heat anyway. So I sit next to a guy that happened to have money on the Chargers. Now I'm against the Chargers. I had no interest in this game. To the man was like, "Yeah, I got money on them to win." I said, "What?" I said, "This guy has to lose like I lost earlier. He can't." No. Next thing you know, you would have thought I was the biggest Chiefs fan in the world. And then he lost. Like, damn. And I said, "Let me get another drink." I said, "You want something to drink, man? Welcome to Skid Row." But no, I thought it was a good game. But that's what I mean by you want some of that excitement on the offensive side of the ball. Otherwise, it's like, why do we go out and get all these components? We get all these components, so hopefully that collectively have a good team. And yeah, you get to see some field goals, you get to see a couple touchdowns, whether it run. I'm so mad that it's been a whole league. What is it? Week 12 coming. And nobody's ever ran back a punt this year.
What's his name? Was that a kickoff for Atlanta? Was that a kickoff they ran back?
No, that's a punt. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, nobody. Kickoff. Yeah.
Someone had ran back earlier today in Atlanta.
Yeah.
He ran back a kickoff.
Yeah, it was
but
a kickoff.
The punt.
Yep.
Why we got to be that team? You know what I mean? Into dirty ass New England. Like,
he went back to the Jets.
It's dirty.
Dirty ass New England.
You know Frank gonna take that personal.
Dirty ass New England. All right, okay. All
right. I hate that team, bro. Like I'll give you one props. One thing that I was very happy to see yesterday, Bill Belichick actually put a coat on. I get so tired of the cut off sleeve shit. You ever see him out there with the 2 hoodies, the cut off sleeve? Trying to look the part, but he had a real coat on yesterday, so kudos to Mr. Belichick.
This gonna be one of those Mondays. What was your take on the Chiefs ended up coming back defeating the Chargers, man, with a minute and I want to say it was a minute and 49 seconds left to go on the clock. What was your take?
That's way too much time to give Patrick Mahomes, but you think about what Talent said, it was Mac versus Zach. And Belichick put a coat on because he's 90. That's why you put a coat on. When you're 90, you wear a coat. Is that
what it is?
I mean, listen, you get Patrick Mahomes over a minute, you guarantee they're going to score something because they just that good. Listen, they used to have Tyreek Hill. Now he has several other weapons to throw the ball to.
He ain't even had the weapons.
Most defenses back in the day when they had Tyreek Hill, they used to really pay a focus on Tyreek Hill. That we can stop him, we can stop them. Now you don't know who to stop because Patrick Mahomes is spreading the ball around. That's what I thought would happen. He's spreading the ball around to everybody, and they still got one of the best tight ends in NFL in Kelsey. You know what I mean? Kelsey to Patrick Mahomes is like Gronk was to Brady.
Yeah.
Like that dude does it, man. I'm just like, yo, you give this dude over a minute in an offensive line, you guaranteed to lose. And that's exactly what happened. Patrick Mahomes has been Patrick Mahomes.
People are talking about Patrick Mahomes should be back in the MVP conversation. And I can't even, I can't even put up too much of an argument with that because nobody's been paying attention to the Chiefs. They're still winning, Mike. They're still winning. What's your take right now on the Chiefs coming back defeating the Chargers, Mike? What's your take?
Patrick Mahomes is the MVP. This is the best start he's ever had in his career.
Mm-hmm.
He is the MVP. Let me tell you how bad the Chargers' defensive game plan was. They didn't even have Juju out there. He left the game. He didn't play. They only had They had a bunch of rookies at wide receiver and Travis Kelce. I'm double teaming him from the minute he gets off the line. Like, either you're gonna blitz Patrick Mahomes or you're gonna drop your defensive lineman back, and everybody's gonna be in the secondary except maybe 2 defensive linemen. You got to pick and choose. They played the same exact defense, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna stop them." No, you're not. And I know everybody's like, "You got to milk the clock." But if you get a chance to score, if you try and milk the clock and you don't score, then you get killed for that. Like, your defense has to make some adjustments. But it's Patrick Mahomes. It's getting obnoxious now. It's getting on some Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. If they have a minute or something, you got to change your defensive game plan, man. I'm dropping everybody back. I'm keeping somehow or another, they ran a crossing route that went for 30 yards. How does that happen?
On the 22-yard line with the game on the line, Kelce, and he doesn't.
Like y'all act like y'all surprised Kelce got the ball.
Yeah, I was like, this is a horrible defensive play call.
But hey, Mahomes is Mahomes. He's the MVP right now. I mean, the way I see it.
Hey, Frank, there's gonna be a lot of kids born named Travis.
Mo, let me ask you this, Mo. What's your take on this right now? Do you think the Chiefs right now have my man as the MVP of the season, or what's your take on that?
Yeah, I think he is the MVP. I mean, to me, right now, the Chiefs are like the Spurs when they had Tim Duncan. You know what I'm saying? Nobody talks about him because he just keep on winning.
Yes, sir.
Just keep on winning for some reason. And to answer, he's the front. Him and Hurts is the front runner for me for MVP right now. But to leave time on the clock for the Chiefs, that's just like me telling my baby mama where my shows are going to be at and how much I'm making. No matter what you do, it's going to cost you.
My man T, you're up next. Before we jump into the NBA, the show you guys are watching is called Box Seats, where comics talk about sports. The Buffalo Bills bounced back yesterday. The Buffalo Bills had 1 or 2 calls yesterday. I saw the trailer, the replay on that. 1 or 2 calls that could have gone against them, but the Bills kind of bounced back. Are the Bills still the team to beat in the AFC, or is it just flat out they're just the Chiefs and the Bills are just putting it together? What's your take on the Bills right now as they bounce back to beat Cleveland Browns yesterday?
Well, I definitely think that they leveled out. And our division period is real quirky. NFC East and the AFC East are kind of like mirroring each other right now, where these games are so tight. It looks like it's going to come down to, those 6 games, those interdivisional games you do. You know what I mean? Those are real tight. So you got the Patriots beating us twice. You got us beating the Bills. You got us beating Miami. So it's going to come down to trickiness and that of how they rank. But I think the Bills just got dropped into a potluck, into a stew of a bunch of people in the AFC scratching and clawing now, which we all knew was going to level out, because once you play 8, 9, 10 games, it's anybody's league now. Now we see where the chips fall. Like, we know that the usual suspects look kind of low at the bottom, and then you got the low-hanging fruit, who are usually the teams like the Vikings that nobody counted on being there. So you got all these teams like jumping around. So AFC is probably, definitely worse than the NFC as far as that goes. So they just leveled out, bro. It's anybody's thing now. So the next 2 weeks are going to be tell its story.
Okay, that's one way to definitely look at it. Fig, do you think the Bills are going to level out? What's your take on the Bills right now, Fig, as they bounce back to beat Cleveland? And some people say it shouldn't have been that close. What's your take?
I think as the NFL season goes on, teams get better. And I think every team has NFL players. And on any given Sunday, if you don't bring your A game, you could lose. You know what I mean? It's not like a bunch of bums over there. You understand what I'm saying? They just in a bad situation. They lose in close games or whatever. But that's why they got oh man, the kid is in all the trouble with the massages, man. That's why they got the quarterback and they Deshaun Watson. That's why they paid Deshaun Watson, because they got some players over there. And they figure with a quarterback is all they need to take them over the top so they can win. You get Deshaun Watson playing at the quality of football that he playing when he was in Texas, Cleveland Browns are going to be a force to be reckoned with. So they got some guys over there So I don't think the Bills should have blown them out. But I think the Bills are doing what it is that they do, and they're gonna I think they're gonna be there at the end. I mean, they're gonna be in the playoffs, and it just see what happens then when they start to play in the playoffs. But they definitely gonna be there.
Okay, Mike Shine, what are you concerned? Any concern with you with the Bills that the Bills struggle to beat Cleveland, or just the game?
I think it's just the game. Honestly, we can go down the whole NFL, and we can name concerns on every single team, even Kansas City, who can't really stop the run. Like Kansas City does have a problem with the run, even though they're 8-2, and I think they might be the favorites. I think everybody has concerns. I think health-wise is who can get healthy before the playoffs start. Can the Bills win enough games where they at least get 1 or 2 playoff games in Buffalo, which is still a hard place to really win at in the playoffs? I don't think they really have to. What they have to do is keep Josh Allen's head straight and tell him, don't try and do everything. Rely on your teammates. Let them in. Make the passes that are open for you. Stop trying to force some Superman throws at the end of games like he did against Minnesota when you had the game in hand. I think that's the biggest problem, is keeping Josh Allen to keep him under that level where he starts doing things. Once he goes there, it's like he thinks he can make every throw. And that's the problem with having a quarterback with such a great arm. He probably has the best arm in football, which means he believes if there's a window, he can get it in there. Even if there's a defender in between him and the receiver, he somehow believes he can get the ball there. And I think that's the biggest problem for the Bills.
Listen, Josh Allen threw the ball 60-something yards against the Jets with his arm was injured. You know what I mean? I think you're right. He thinks he does have one of the best arms in the game. Mo, concerns with the Bills? What's your take? Should Bills fans be worried? What's your take on the Bills as they enter slowly into the playoffs?
I don't think the Bill fans should be worried. You know, I said this the first week you had me here on. We were talking about the Bills and the Eagles. All it is that people are just catching up to them. Just like I brought about the Patriots years ago when y'all were unbeaten, you know, and then towards the end of the season, people started catching up to them. But they're going to make the playoffs. What they need to worry about is when they make the playoffs, because can they get out the playoffs? Because now people are catching up to them.
Interesting take. Definitely interesting take. Now let's move on and segue to the NBA. Something happened over the weekend. Couldn't wait to talk to you guys about this over the weekend. Ben Simmons came back. He played 3 games. Kyrie Irving came back. The Nets now have Kyrie, Ben Simmons, KD balling, playing together. And when they're playing together, their defense has now gone from the bottom 30th to the 5th, he said, 5th or 7th best defense in the league right now. They're putting some stuff together. Talk to me what your thoughts now, T, with the Kyrie Irving returning to the Nets and the Nets playing better basketball right now. What you take, T?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's anybody's surprise. The only thing that we're waiting on is see what days these guys get back on the court together. Ben Simmons, we can crack on his offense all day, but he is real. You know, he's a very good defensive player. And he actually, I watched last night, he actually looks good out there. You know, so he actually looked good last night. That was a great game for them, great win for them to do what they're doing. Because, you know, we all in these West Coast runs, if you will. I mean, granted, Ja didn't play. So you always got to factor that in when you look at you playing a hot team, but the star players out. But they got it done. At the end of the day, they got it done, and I seen the collective effort out there. I just hope the guy, whatever he was going through, obviously I don't think it's just physical stuff. I just hope he gets over that hurdle, man, so that we could see the possibilities and capabilities of this Nets team.
Okay. Fig, what's your take on this Ben Simmons returning and Kyrie Irving returning? What's your take on that?
It brings you 2 aspects of the game. Ben Simmons on the defensive end and Kyrie on the offensive end. You cannot key on Kevin Durant as much when Kyrie Irving is on the floor. You got to watch them both. And you got to set your defense to stop them both, because at any given night, either one of them could go for 40-plus points a game. So it makes it difficult on the other team to be able to stop you when you have 2 prolific scorers on the floor. And with Ben Simmons, he's 6'10", he's mobile, he's agile. Now he got his back situation together, and he's doing some things, and he looks like he's getting back to being the Ben Simmons that we saw early on, man, because he looked really athletic and it looked like he got his, his NBA legs are starting to come back. And that's what it looked like yesterday. He was making moves at the basket. He's making layups, reverse dunks. He was distributing the ball with assists and stuff like that. He's getting back to being that old school looking Ben Simmons, and that's going to be scary for other teams that got to see those three dudes on the floor at the same time.
Mike Sean, the Brooklyn Nets were hitting a lot of three-pointers yesterday, and their defense stepped up. Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons returned. What's your take on their return to the Nets?
I think the most important part of Ben Simmons being on the court, and I think is what wore out Kevin Durant last year, is Kevin Durant does not have to play the best wing player on the other team on defense. So he gets a break where he can put Ben Simmons on the best wing player on a Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, where Kevin Durant doesn't have to chase these guys down for 35 minutes, and he gets the help on the boards. I mean, right. we can joke about all we want, like Talent said, but the fact of the matter is the man, I think he had one game, it was 11 points, 10 rebounds, and like 7 assists. If you add that to the mix, you're adding help on the board, you're adding help on defense, and you're getting Kevin Durant to be able to take breaks during the game. He doesn't have to be on the bench. He can take some breaks during the game. But unfortunately, when we do the gift and the curse of doing shows like this is that we have to react to yesterday. In actuality, we can't really call this to the All-Star break until they really gel and they really get this thing together. You can't just decide this is going to work or this is not going to work right now. You just got to give it time to see if Ben Simmons ever were to average his old average that he had with the Sixers, Brooklyn would be imposing. If he went back to 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists that he was doing with the Sixers, it would be a definite problem there to add in the Patty Mills and the Seth Currys and the rest of them. Now, all of a sudden, you have an elite, full offensive team to go against anybody in the NBA.
I think that's what they were thinking when he came in. Mo, what's your take, bro? Let's not forget either that Ben Simmons is coming back to the team right before they head to Philly. You know what I mean? I think he's trying to make a statement. What's your take?
Well, they messed up my whole sit your ass down. I was about to start off with them until they won last night. I mean, it's good to see that Kyrie. It's good to see Kyrie Irving came back from FMLA, and Ben Simmons dropped 22. Did he drop 22 last night? Like that's crazy. But you know what? We can call this. We can't call it. I think you're wrong when you say we gotta wait till the All-Star break. We ain't gotta wait till the All-Star break. We know they can play together as a team, but they so mildly retarded that somebody's gonna do something to screw it up.
Cool.
That's what's gonna happen. It ain't never been about talent. We all got talent, but somebody is gonna do something to screw it up.
You all got talent. You're not even my type.
I'm talking about Kyrie, Ben, and Kevin. Big. All right, John starts.
Speaking of talent, Anthony Davis said that he's looking to fill a void as he scored 30. He's playing like his old self. The Lakers win their 3rd straight, defeating San Antonio. They won 123-92. Now, I'll say that again. They won 123-92. They blew out San Antonio. The Lakers winning their 3rd straight. You think the Lakers found a winning formula here by getting themselves back on track? They're going to make a run, whatever. I don't know.
Absolutely, they found a winning strategy to win 3 straight. That's it. That's it. There's no miracle being worked here. There's no, oh my God, back in the chip. No, I think that they found, and then you got to look at who it is. You got to take that San Antonio one off the table because who you playing? You're playing Popovich. Is it? Anybody out there? Anybody out there? They don't have no standouts. They're not a regular cohesive unit. If you look at San Antonio, they're very wish-washy, up and down, 50-50. They'll turn around, beat Sacramento today, then lose to Charlotte, and they're all over the place. So it's not a definitive thing to me. If they can pull together, Frank, and I'm not even going to say consecutive wins because that's very difficult in this league. But if, let's say, the next 10, 15 games, You say next 15 games, they give you 10 wins out of there. Now you got a conversation.
Okay. All right.
Now you got a conversation.
That's your thought on it. Okay.
Yeah, if I can keep grabbing 2 out of 3, two-thirds of my wins, you got a conversation.
All right, are the Lakers getting their things together, Fig? Your thoughts are their defense is getting better and they're winning now. Your take, Fig?
Yeah, they win. But who are they winning against? That's the thing. That's what whenever you talk about the Lakers are chalking up wins, you got to talk about who they're playing at the time. Are they playing any contenders? San Antonio, ain't nobody talking about San Antonio like they got Tim, Manu, and Tony over there. Them and Kawhi. Them dudes are not playing. Mm-hmm. So you got to talk about who the Lakers are playing. San Antonio will probably be in the bottom half of the NBA. You know what I mean, for this year, and maybe they'll do something going forward. But ain't nobody talking about San Antonio making no noise. Here's the thing when you talk about the Lakers, and you must always keep this in mind. Every single year, because the Lakers are a storybook franchise, it's championship or bust. So we can't talk about a 3-game winning streak against teams that ain't going nowhere. We need to see the Lakers play the top teams in the NBA, top echelon teams in the NBA, and see if they can beat those teams. Because if they don't make the playoffs, make it to the Western Conference Finals, and end up with a championship ring, the Lakers had a failed season.
Mike Sean, what's your take on the Lakers right now on their 3rd straight win?
They beat Brooklyn on there, in there. I'm just impressed that Anthony Davis, no matter who you play, when you go 37-18 in one game, 38-16 in the next game, and 30-18 in the next game, you're balling. I don't care who you're playing. You're doing something. So I think if LeBron is watching, which he is watching on that bench, if he sees this, he needs to keep feeding this dude. He needs Anthony Davis to keep his confidence where it's at. Now, they have a game against Phoenix coming up Tuesday. Now, that'll show you something. Now, they're playing without LeBron. He's still going to be hurt. But if they beat Phoenix or they make it a 2-3 point loss, then maybe they got something going on. But because they've been so bad, you can't give them the benefit of the doubt anymore. Now, you have to give them a 15-20 game run. See how it turns out. If you go through a 20-game run and you win 13 or 14 of those games, then we can talk about something. But right now, you can't give. But I'm glad that Anthony Davis looks healthy again for now. And I wish him all the health in the world.
Mo, what's your take on the Lakers winning streak? Mo, you're on mute.
Yeah, why are we even talking about the Lakers? What are the Lakers? The Lakers are 13th in the West. You know who's 14th? The Spurs. Why are we listen, nobody's talking about Minnesota. Minnesota's won 4 out of 6. They've been on the winning streak. Ain't nobody talking about the Pelicans. We talking about the Lakers. The Lakers ain't doing nothing, man. Like Mike said, people only talk about them because it's LA. That's it. I'm not impressed. Frank, like you said last week, I'm not impressed. You want to impress me? Take the wheel.
Drive. Yeah.
Drive.
Yeah.
Minnesota could be undefeated. Minnesota could be undefeated. We still wouldn't talk about them.
Yeah, that's very true.
We still wouldn't talk about them.
All right, so tomorrow's show, we got to talk about the Giants, and then we got to talk about the Giants showdown. I think it's Thursday against the Cowboys. We got to talk about how real the Cowboys may be seem to be happening. We also got to talk about what's going on with Luka Doncic. We got to talk about Dame Lillard, and then we got to talk about the rest of the games because the Broncos ended up losing to the Raiders. The Raiders finally won the game, and the Raiders.
What?
We didn't talk about that. We got to talk about that tomorrow. We got a couple more games. We didn't talk about Lamar Jackson. We didn't get to that. Justin Fields ended up doing some things against the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to talk about that. And, of course, we are going to talk more about, again, the Cowboys. Some big games coming up on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. But tonight, let me ask you guys tonight. The Arizona Cardinals are playing the San Francisco 49ers. Kyler Murray's not playing. Does anybody up here think Kyler Murray's Cardinals are going to beat the 49ers? Monday night, bright lights. What do you think, T?
I think it's possible. It's highly possible, but I'm gonna go ahead and stick with San Fran on this one.
Well, I think you win a lot of money tonight if you pick Arizona Cardinals. I think all the money's on San Fran. Fig, who you got tonight?
I got San Francisco. Mighty Mouse ain't playing, and Jimmy G is. I'm going. Listen, 9 times out of 10, if you look at your quarterback and their team is fairly healthy, you pick the best quarterback. That'll be the team that'll probably win.
Okay, Mike Sean, your take?
Well, this is based on financial stupidity that I'm doing this. I made a gambling mistake yesterday, and it came out to benefit me. After all the losing, I doubled down on the Kansas City Chiefs, and that came out. And then I took the rest of the ballots, and I put it on the 49ers. So either tomorrow morning, I'm going to be a very excited individual, or I'm going to be Uber driving. It's either one. I don't know which one. I don't know which one it's going to be. So
Right, Mike,
I got the 49ers. I got the 49ers.
Mike, tomorrow morning,
DoorDash for me.
I don't think you're going to be driving Uber tomorrow morning. No, who you got?
You know what? I want to say the 49ers, but you know, a lot of times when the second string quarterback comes in, the teams are not ready for him. They're not ready for it. So I want to say the 49ers. I got the upset. I got Arizona taking it tonight.
Oh, don't even say. Don't put that in the atmosphere, dog.
I got it. I got you, man. I'm not gonna be here tomorrow, so I gotta leave. I gotta have a reason for you all to come in and say Mo was right. We gotta sit our asses down.
I can't believe you're saying that with that shirt on. That's crazy.
Yeah,
You're gonna go for the upset?
You know what, talent? You know what, talent? I see you in brown sugar. I see you in brown sugar Sunday.
What about the Lions?
Hey, Mo, you got to keep it real. You should have told our Giants to sit their ass down today. You should have told them to sit. You should have told them to sit their ass down today.
I wanted to, man, but it just, you know, I don't know if I'm pissed with the Giants. I don't know if I'm pissed with Kadarius Toney. You know, because 3 weeks ago he couldn't play, and now he hopping on one leg into the end zone.
And Mo,
I don't know.
And Mo, real quick, the only receiver that was doing anything, Robinson, the rookie, he's out for the year.
He got hurt.
Oh, he's out for the year.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about all that about tomorrow. We're gonna dive into the Giants because the Giants got a big game on Thursday. So,
That's
T, tell
right.
me how they can follow you, bro. Thanksgiving week this week.
Hey, listen, this week, follow your boy. I'm gonna be actually, man, Mike's stomping grounds down in Dallas, Texas this week for Thanksgiving for 3 days. We got the show on Friday, myself and Smokey Suarez. Follow me, Talent the Comedian, y'all, on the gram, on IG. I'll be on 6 o'clock today talking some mess.
And Talent and Smokey Suarez are going to be up in Boston on Brown Sugar Sundays, December 4th, too. Let's not forget about that. Fig, tell me how they can follow you, bro.
You can follow me on social media platforms at Comedian Fig. And you can find me chasing down a wild turkey because Thanksgiving is close.
Mike.
Follow me at Mike Shaw Comedy. Talent, text me where you're gonna be at Dallas. Got a lot of people who will go out there and check you out. And
okay.
And also get ready to perform in front of a bunch of New England Patriots December 4th. Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Mo.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Mo_comic. You can catch me the day before Thanksgiving at my show at the Rockland Doubletree Inn in Massachusetts, and the Black Friday show with Damn Good Comedy with Corey Mann and the crew in Dorchester, Massachusetts.
Yes, sir.
Oh, big shout out to my man Jonathan Gates. I hope he's feeling better out there too. Mo, is Jonathan feeling better?
Yeah, I got word. Me and Corey Mann were together the other day. I'm going to visit him one day this week. But Corey went to see him. He's doing better. He's in spirits. He's doing better.
Yeah, he is. I spoke to him on the phone. And he cracking nothing but jokes. I said, "Man, you to the end, boy."
Yeah, to the end.
Yeah. To the end, boy.
All right, y'all. The show's called Box Seats. We're going to be on again tonight at 7 and 11, so 3 times a day. It's on the Humor Mill channel. Download the app and all that good stuff. Thank you all. We'll see y'all tomorrow. The name of the show is called Box Seats. Talent, Mike, Fig, Mo, Rodney Perry back tomorrow. Dave will probably be back tomorrow because now he'll be breathing because the Philadelphia Eagles did win, eventually. So we're going to do this all again, y'all. We'll see y'all then. Thank y'all.
Make sure you tell Rodney.